Hello everyone and welcome back. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts on the games I played in June. I played 18 games and I think 5 of them are new, 5-ish, something like that. Let's get started right away. First new game was Railroad Inc. So I played this one actually on the app. Heard a lot of good things about it. It's again a roll and write game where you're gonna build roads and a train, and you try to make like good connections to get to get the most points. I feel like on the app it was okay. Here it must be really messy because there are some crossings. Like you have to be very careful on how you draw, which seems like a pain to do on real. I don't know. I just played the base version. Thought it was okay. I kind of expected better. 6 for me. We played Beyond the Sun. So Beyond the Sun is a worker placement game where you have these tech tiles, and which are also your worker placement spots, where you go and you're gonna do stuff. You're gonna explore those planets, or you can gain new technologies. You can improve this. Those are your personal boards. You can improve the resource that you get, and so on. The cool thing about this is that you have the four on the left, which are the level 1 tiles. Everyone has access to them once you put a dice on them. There are also basic actions, but everything else is hidden, so you don't know what's gonna come. There's always an event, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna, okay, if I'm here and say I'm here, I'm going here, so it's green, so that means this card should be green next, and then I'm gonna reveal cards until there's a green card, and then I'm gonna move on. And there are 4 different colors which represents different aspects. Like one is economy, one is military, one is exploration. I don't know what the other one is. And it's pretty cool because the effects here are also random. You don't know exactly which card they are. When you're the first one to go there, you actually will have 2 cards that you might pick from, and maybe one is just green, and maybe one is green red, and maybe you want to go more in red, and maybe this is more interesting for you. And it also gives this new spot available for you. The cool thing about this game is the dice. The dice are actually your workers. You see here they're workers, but on the other side they also use as ships, and on the other side they also use as resource. So here they are in stock. Those are the stocks one, and then you can turn them into workers, or you can turn them into ship level 1, level 2, level 3, and then you try to gain control with your ships of those different planets, and then you can colonize them. If you colonize them, they will give you point at the end of the game. There's also some resource involved with these minerals, so there's a little bit of resource management in here. I thought it was pretty cool. One of the guys didn't like it that much. I thought it was cool. It doesn't look cool, to be honest, because of all those white cards, but there's so much text on them. If they were not white, probably it would be more messy. So I kind of like how they did it. That's Beyond the Sun. I rate this as 7 right now. The next new game is Isle of Cats Explore and Draw, which is the roll and write version of the Isle of Cats, which is one of my favorite games. In Explore and Draw, you're gonna draw on your boat with colored markers, and then at the end of the game, your boat will look something like that. And how you're gonna do that? You're gonna always reveal some cards, and then you can always pick one of the columns. There's some special effects to sometimes get a row instead of a column and something like that. You're going to play 7 rounds, and after the 7 rounds, who has the most points wins. There are cats that you can draw here, and you try to make families. So for example, here he has a purple cat here, purple one. So he has a family of 5 cats, which gives you a certain number of points. So you try to keep all your cats with the same color together. Like this blue cat here is not going to give him anything. So that's not great. You also try to fill their different areas on your boat. You try to fill them. He did a really poor job because there's a front area here, not filled. This one is not filled. This left area is filled. This bottom one is not filled. He did a really poor job here. So there's that. And then there are some lessons cards. Those are the blue cards. And they can tell you, for example, okay, you want to have the whole side of your boat filled. And then it gives you a certain number of points. So that's the basic principle of the game. It's quite fast. It's plays in, I don't know, half an hour or something. It gives you kind of the Isle of Cat feeling. Still not the same as Isle of Cats. Still not as good as the Isle of Cats. But for a short version, it's pretty good. It's one of my favorite roll and writes now. So I like this. So that's the Isle of Cats. Explore and draw rate is an 8. I have no other roll and write that has more than 8. So this is one of my favorites with probably Cartographers, which is also a great game. So that was also new. Then we played Eclipse, second down of the galaxy. No, second down for the galaxy. So this is a game, when you look at it, you're scared. Because in the end, it will look like this. There will be ships everywhere. There will be stuff everywhere. And it took us like 4 or 5 hours to play. So what is Eclipse? Eclipse is a space, well, what they call a 4X game. I don't even know what the 4X are for. Explore, exterminate, exchange, and X number 4. No idea. So what you're going to do, you're going to trade a little bit resource. You're going to make coalitions with your friend to get more resource. You're going to explore and build some mining stations on the different areas where you can. Because how the game works is that at the beginning of the game, all those are not there. So there's like the big one in the middle, and then like there's one here, one here, one here. Everything else is blank. You place them so that the other one fit in between. And then you're going to explore. You're going to get some tiles and you can place them how you want. And then there are those portals that allow you to either travel from there to there or not. So if there's not a portal from here to here, for example, there's only half a portal, you can't really do that. Well, actually, this one is not turned around. Bad example. But you get the idea. So here, for example, there's nothing. You can go from here to here. So you can, with the exploration, try to protect yourself or create openings if you want to attack one guy or explore more in that direction. Each player will have a different faction, and they have some sort of special powers. There are also, when you reveal, sometimes neutral enemies on the map. So the neutral enemies, they are just there. They were just there before. So if you go there and you want to take their planet, you need to destroy them. And then there's a huge bunch of technology tiles, which are here at the bottom. And those technology tiles is how you improve your ships. You can see here you have always a bunch of different ships that you can build. 3 ships and 1 space station. But then with those improvements, you can actually increase the power of those things. So for example, of course I took the worst quality image. So here, this is the basic ship. It has no single upgrade. Here he has 1, 2, 3 upgrades on it. So this is way better. It's way improved. And this is the cool thing. Each ship can be different. So in the end, you end up with 4 or 5 different players that play with different ways and different different ships that can do different things. Maybe some are very small ships that have only 1 health, but they have like a lot of weapons or missiles that hit before the normal weapons, and maybe their goal is just to go and destroy before the other can even react. This kind of stuff. So the game was pretty cool. We played 5-player game. I kind of blocked myself on the right side because the opponent that was there had more, well, it was more an aggressive faction. I had more defensive faction. Actually, I couldn't destroy neutral. The neutral were my allies. So every time I discovered a neutral one, I tried to stay there because I could use the stuff on his planet because they were allies with me. So the game went on. It was a little bit weird in the middle where nobody wanted to attack. We didn't know exactly what to do. It's the first time we played this game, at least me and a few other guys. So, and then everybody started attacking everyone, and then there are like those wormholes where you can teleport in the back, and it gets really messy. I didn't fight much because my strategy was very defensive. Stay in the back, try to improve my resource, and try to control all those neutral territories where the neutral allies were still alive, because they will give me point at the end of the game. At the end, in the last round, one of the guys was quite in the lead, but a lot of people attacked him. And his goal was to attack me, and if he would have won that fight, he would have won the game. But I was very clever. Yeah, I can do that sometimes. I actually took the space station. There were only 2 choking points where he could come in. On one side, I hold my fleet. All my fleet was there. On the other side, there was nothing at that time. What I did is I built 4 space stations. And what I did, I gave them tons of weapons. Tons of weapons, and the thing is with the space station, they always fire first because they have a high initiative. So what happened is that he came in, I rolled a bunch of dice, I destroyed half his fleet. I rolled really badly, but still, it was enough. And then he attacked me back, but he couldn't destroy all my space stations. So he destroyed some of them. So I kept the control of this territory. And what you control at the end of the game is very important for the victory point. And what tax you have is also very important. And this is what gives you all the victory points. It was a cool game. I liked it. It's quite long, like 4 or 5 hours, probably 4. Maybe it can be faster if everybody knows the game, but for us it was like discover. We have to read every single tile and so on. There are a few minor things that are kind of stupid in the game, like for example those tiles. It doesn't show you on the tag, it doesn't show you how much energy they cost, which is stupid because this is very important. So you have to always go back and check in the actual tile. So there's a few minor things that are stupid. I like this game. It's a different kind of game. We don't play this kind of game very much. It's not my favorite kind of game because you can have 2 players to decide to crush a third player, and there's nothing that third player can do about it. Which can happen if they feel like, oh, he's in the lead. Maybe he isn't, but they just don't like him. Could be. So yeah, that's Eclipse. It was cool. I liked it, but I don't think we're gonna play this this again because I think the guy's gonna sell it. So I give this a 7 right now. Then I played Founders of Teotihuacan. Yeah. So this is a tile placement game, which I like. Tend to like those. What you're gonna do is a tile placement game and a resource management game. So this is your personal board, okay, and this is the general board where you can have supplies and stuff. You play in a certain number of rounds, I think 3 or 4 rounds. And what's going to happen is you have your workers, which you can see here, and you're going to place them on those different spots to get the different things. So you can either build stuff on the top here, or you can do production action and yeah, I don't even remember. There are different other actions you can do at the bottom. So every time you use one of the spots, you choose if you go top or bottom. And then there are some bonuses on the spots. Which is cool about this game is when you're first, you go there, you put 1 worker, you get the bonus. But the number of workers you put there is actually also the power of the action. So for example, here he puts one worker, he gets a bonus because he's first, so he has a power of 2, 1 + 1 of the bonus. So he can only actually get something for 2. So he could only get those small buildings that have 2 squares. If you want something for 3 or 4, well, he needs to put more workers, but you have a limited number of workers. So you have to think about, okay, how many workers do I put in there? But the other thing is, if I put like, let's imagine he puts 2 or 3 on them now, or 2 on them, so he has a power of 3 because of the base. He's the first one. Well, the thing is, the guy coming after, he can put it on top. He can put it on top and take it over. So you have to always be careful and see, okay, do I leave it open for the opponent because it's gonna help him? We played a 2-player game, so it was quite tricky. But I guess in the multiplayer games, you're less inclined to just, if you're 4-player. By the time it comes back to your turn, you don't really care if somebody took your spot because somebody will. So it was cool. And then you get these tiles, and then you're gonna build the tiles, the city tiles on the side here, and you're gonna build the temples here in the middle. And the temple are gonna score based on the color of the city tiles. So if you have your blue temples are gonna score based on your blue buildings. And then there are some buildings that are production buildings, like for example this gray one, and you put the cubes down. When you put it down, you put cubes everywhere you can around that building. And those cubes are actually a resource that you need to build the other stuff. So there are 3 different kind of resources. So it's a cool resource management, but on your board. So it's also a spatial puzzle where you put it and you have to think, okay, but if I put it here, it's good because I can fill it better, but then I produce less resource. There are also some pre-printed masks here on the board, and once you fill them completely, you get a mask, which gives you victory points at the end of the game. So it's kind of a neat puzzle. I liked it. It was cool. I played it only 1 time with 2 players. So maybe with more players, I would like to try it again. So that's Founders of Teotihuacan, which I gave a 7 right now. And that was it for the new games I played. I played a bunch of other games. I played Gaia Project, which is the best space game in existence, I think. Rate this a 10. It's a space exploration, space, resource management, tech tree game. It's a great game. It's you have 14 different factions that all play a little bit differently. You have different objective tiles. You have different tiles for each objectives for each round that can give you victory point, and yeah, a lot of different ways to actually gain victory point. But it's hard. It's a difficult game. And I always get crushed usually. But then I tried the app again. The app is not awesome. Well, no, it's shit. The app is shit, but I really like the game. I actually already installed it in the past, and I asked a refund on Steam because it was that bad. But then I really want to play this game again, and we played it one day, well, physical, and then I said, okay, I tried it again, put it on the tablet, installed the app, and actually I got it. And actually there is a button which they call legacy image or something, which actually looks like this. Otherwise they put like stupid neo lighting buildings, which look really bad. So this helped. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't beaten the app in hard yet. I tried to beat it in medium, which sometimes works every 5 times. So I played this, I think, 8 times over the app. So that was pretty cool. Gaia Project, if you like complex games, this is a Euro game. This has nothing to do with Eclipse. We don't fight in this game. It's a Euro game. You're gonna steal planets from each other because you're first, but that's all. There is no fighting. It's just exploration and evolving your buildings and getting more technology and stuff like that. Awesome game, Gaia Project. Yeah, 10. It's in my top 10 of games of all time. Marvel Champions, also an awesome game, and I finished the Galaxy's Most Wanted campaign with my son, which was great. So in this box you have two heroes. You have Rocket and you have Groot. So I was playing Groot because, well, I actually checked a little bit the decks and see how they play. Groot is terrible. It's really difficult to play. Rocket is okay. It's not great. Well, actually, he's cool. He's cool, but he's squishy. He has only 9 life, but he does a lot of damage, so that's pretty cool. Groot is a defensive character, but he has some weird things where, like, for example, he gets those gross token, or however they're called, on him, and those give you more health to protect others, or you can actually use them. Well, actually, you have cards that say, okay, you do as many damage as you have gross token, which is cool. But on the other hand, if you're protecting others, you're not going to have a lot of gross token most of the time. So then it doesn't make sense. So a lot of times you have cards in hand and you're like, okay, I can do as many damage as I have gross token. Well, I have 1, so that's stupid. Yeah, the design is not great. Rocket was great. He had a bunch of weapons and some cool cards. I liked Rocket a lot. We actually had to, well, I redid both decks with my son for the final boss, because the first time we with the pre-built decks we got crushed. So we did them good, and then it worked out, and it was great. So I still like this game. It's one of my favorite solo games or a 2-player game. I would not play this with more than 2 players because, yeah, it just drags on and on and on for nothing. So it's a 1 or 2-player game for me. But this is awesome. Marvel Champion, if you like solo games or 2-player cooperative games, is this awesome game. Now, if you start this and you start playing with this, don't blame on me that you lose a lot of money, because they bring out new stuff every single month and you buy them if you like the game, like me. So that's Marvel Champions. Great game. So this box I rate an 8, but the main game I rate a 10 because it's awesome. Then we have Brass Burmingham. Okay, Brass Burmingham is, I already talked about it. It's a really classic Euro game about train building. Well, actually at the beginning it's not train building. It's you build like your networks. First, in the first era it's boats, and then in the second era is trains, and you're gonna build some factories and stuff like that. It's gonna score you money and points and whatever. Okay. The other people I play this with, they love this game. It's one of their favorite games. I like it, still bad at it, but every time I play this game, at some point in the game, I start taking out my phone and I start looking at stuff because I get bored. Because it takes too long. Because people think and think and think. And sometimes, because of how the game works, turn order is changing all the time. So you could be first in the first turn. Well, in one turn you're first, so you play. Then you wait for the second, the third, and the fourth player. But then in the next year, you're last. So you wait again for the other three guys. So you wait basically 6 turns before it's your turn again. This takes forever. And now for my defense, because I don't want to hear complaints, I was not the only one who took out his phone to check and stuff because it was so long. So that's my main problem with the game. It takes too long. There is too much downtime while the other are playing. Maybe because the other wants to play perfectly. I just play on on the fly. I don't plan like 4 turns ahead. And when I try this, I get crushed anyway. Because then people steal my stuff, which is exactly what happened in this game. I was very close to concede in the first round because they stole my stuff, and well, I'm not gonna go into detail. Yes, I am going to go to detail. So what happened? If you want to ship stuff, you need to make a way to ship. So you need to get on the side of the map to be able to ship on different locations. There are 4 different locations or 5 different locations. So I prepared everything, and you can actually count based on the number of cards you have, how many rounds you have left. And I actually counted. I'm like, what? You're counting 5, 6 rounds in advance? Are you crazy? Yes, I'm doing that. This time. I will never do it again because it didn't work. So what happened is that I knew one guy. Well, actually, I didn't know because I completely forgot. Turn 1, he took like a Joker card. You can do that. So it's basically a wasted turn, but it gives you a lot of freedom for the next one. So he had a Joker card in hand where you can basically, he could go everywhere on the map he wanted. So I completely forgot about it. So he stole one of my stuff. So I couldn't, because you need those barrels to ship. So he stole one of them. But then I'm like, yeah, I can go to the other side. I can go to the other side and still do that. Because I'm the only one, because that guy that could still ship, he can't build there. He has nothing to ship there. He can't build the road that he needs. So as long as I don't build the road before him, I'm good. And I want to build the road and ship. I'm good. But then the other guy, one other guy, had nothing to do. What did he do? He just built that road. So he gave the other, he just helped him without, well, knowing, because it wasn't his plan. He just built that road to get some points. But it completely crushed me. Completely crushed me. So that happened. So I will never try to plan ahead ever again because it doesn't work for me. That's one thing to learn from this. Brass Birmingham. Yeah, I rate this a 7 because of the downtime. If the game was faster, like it would probably be higher, but the downtime is so high. That's my main issue with that game. Okay, next one, Sprawlopolis. Sprawlopolis is a solo game. It has only 18 cards. And what I love about this game is what they did with 18 cards. So you have those cards that always have 4 terrains, and there are some roads in there. Okay, and then each card at the back has some objective. You always draw 3 cards at random. Those will be your 3 objectives for this game. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna, well, you have 3 cards available, and then you're gonna place one. You get another one. You place one. You get another. You place, and you can place them like next to each other, or they can also go on top. And you're gonna try to reach those objectives. There are a certain number of points here. You get points for your biggest area in each color. You get points for you lose points for roads that go into nothing. So you lose a bunch of points there. And then those objectives will grant you a bunch of points. And they tell you also how much points you need to reach to actually win. For an 18 card game, this is still, in my opinion, the best card game for such few components. There's just 18 cards in this box. There's nothing else. It's awesome. I rate this 8 right now. Because it's a tiny game, and I don't rate tiny games 10s because I don't play them a million times. But this is really great. And you go somewhere, you're in the train, you just take it out, you just need a little bit of table space, and that's it. That's pretty great. Isle of Cats. Isle of Cats is, in my opinion, the best game there is for one reason. It's accessible. I can play this with everyone. And it has a lot of depth. So it has drafting and it has tiling So it's a little bit like the roll and ride I just explained before. You're going to take those cats, you're going to you're going to lure them in with fish. So there's a resource management aspect with fish. You're going to put them in baskets and then you're going to put them on your boat. And you try to fill your boat the best as possible. You have those objective cards that will grant you based on whatever. Maybe you need to have 4 blue cats and 4 pink cats, and then you get 8 points, something like that. Or you need to have at least, I don't know, 6 treasures. Then you get a certain number of points. This game is awesome. And actually, it was the expansion. You can even play this with 6 players. So this is really great. I played this one twice with my wife, which was great. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. I don't know anybody who doesn't like this game. So this is the Isle of Cats. That's a 10 for me. Then I continue playing Planet Unknown, another polyomino games. You see a kind of a pattern here. Here it's polyominoes plus, well, tracks. There are 5 tracks here that you're going to move up. Every time you take one of those tiles, you're going to put it on your planet, and then you're going to move up 2 tracks of the colors. So for example, here's gray and red, so you're going to move up the gray and the red track. And how this works is that, like, for example, here well, let's imagine you have 3 players. So one is here, one is here, one is here. So what's going to happen, you're going to put like this arrow here, and then another one here. So the one whose turn is, he chooses whatever he needs. He can choose whatever he wants. So he chooses, for example, this one. What's going to happen is this guy will need to take either this one or this one, because that's what's in front of him. And the guy that sits here needs to take either this one or this one. And then you try to fill your planet the best as possible. You get points for each completed row and each completed column. You get points if you get those blue life pods, because there's a small rover that can go around the planet. It's a great game. And what is really good is there is a basic planet, but there is a bunch, 12 I think, unique planets, and there's a bunch of unique corporations here that work differently. And I played with a bunch of them. Let me see if I can find a different planet here really quick. So this is the base planet. Of course I can't, because they don't. Well, I guess you will have to trust me, because I can't find it. So there are a lot of different planets that actually, well, don't only look differently, but they also play differently. So they might have different rules. They might have a rule that says you can't do this or you can't do that. And so that's pretty cool, because it gives you more replayability. So that was a lot of fun. So far I've only played this solo, but I would like to play this multiplayer. That's Planet Unknown. That's an 8 for me. I played some King Domino with my kids. Not gonna talk about it again. Still a great game. I played some Paper Dungeon. So that's a roll and ride where you're going to explore a dungeon. So what's going to happen is you're going to always roll some dice. You can improve your different classes. And each class, when you fight a monster, it's, for example, this monster, he has a power of 3 and he needs to be defeated by a warrior. So you're going to check how much power you have with a warrior. And then you might take some damage. And you can buy some potions to get more health and stuff like that. There are some items you can buy and so on. So what you're going to do is you're going to try optimize how you beat the monsters, and then there are always bosses showing up somewhere on the map that you're going to draw. And there is a fight with those bosses. And I actually played this with my son, and he beat me. And I didn't expect that. That was great. I was like, yeah, I have that many points. And he's like, oh, okay, can you count mine? And I'm like, damn it, he won. That was great. So you always have like, you roll, I think 6 dice or 5 dice, I don't remember. And then you use 3, 3, 3. Then there's the first boss, 3, 3, 3. There's a second boss, and then 3, 3. And then there's the last boss. And then the game is over. And so you basically, well, roll around until everything is drawn on you. You see something like that, and you can start moving around. And I don't know what they did there. For us, yeah. Well, whatever, you get it, right? Here. So it goes like this, then I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to move up, and so on. So here they probably have the weapon that allows the tool that allows the item that allows them to go over walls, because otherwise you have to go around. And here's the first boss, here's the second boss, and so on. It's a cool game. I like it. It's a cool roll and ride. That's a 7. Race for the Galaxy, awesome game. I already talked about it. I still like playing it. I actually bought it somewhere there. I bought the game. I bought the expansion for the solo mode. I haven't tried it yet. I only played it on the app so far. I really want to show this also um, to some of the other people we play with, because it's a really cool game. It's a really cool game. That's Race for the Galaxy. Maquis is a solo game. I played this a bunch more, and actually I didn't know it. Well, I remembered that actually there is an app for this, and I played it on the app, and it's way faster, and it's the same, and it's a solo game. So do I need a physical copy? Not sure, but the app is really good. So far I think I'm gonna sell it and play it on the app, because I don't see the point of me taking it out if I can just play it on the tablet. So that's Maquis. It's a cool solo game if you like solo worker placement where you have to take some risks sometimes, and it's pretty cool. And there are a bunch of different missions that you can combine to make it harder or easier. Then we have Pulsar 2849. Great game where you're gonna go. Well, there's this huge space grid here, and you all start with one spaceship somewhere on the side of the board. And it's a dice, well, it's a dice placement game. So you're gonna roll a bunch of dice at the beginning. You're gonna put them down here, and then based on where the dice are, so let's imagine you have a bunch of 5s and 6s, and then there's only a 1 and a 2. So you're gonna calculate the median value, and then what's gonna happen is every time you take a high dice, you actually reduce some of those 2 tracks. One is the priority track, who plays first, and one is like a resource track. So better dice are always better, but they give you a disadvantage. And so you have to carefully say, okay, do I really need a big die right now, or can I live with a small die because I'm going to do something that doesn't require a big die, and then I can get on top in the priority track and I can play first, or I can get on top on a resource track and get more resource cubes. So that this is really nice, really nice. There's some action on your board you can do. There's some action you can do in general, like getting those well, I don't know how they're called, geodynes or something like that. So it's how you get the energy from the pulsars. You can travel around and explore some of the planets. That gives you a bunch of bonuses. It's a cool game. I really like it. There's end game objectives. There's a tech tree here where you can get special powers and stuff like that. It's a really cool game. I really like it. So it was. We didn't play it for a while. I'm happy that we played it again. So that's Pulsar 2849, and this is actually I rate this a 9. Draftosaurus, well, not much to say about it. You draft small animals, you put them in your park. Funny story. I played this with my son, 6, and with my daughter, 4. And my daughter doesn't really understand what she's doing half of the time, so I tell her, okay, no, those are for the same. I have to repeat it a little bit, but she won. We played 3 games and she won every single time. And my son was so angry. It was so funny. He was so angry. He got mad and he's like, oh, I lost again. This was funny. Yeah, I actually lost as well every single time, but I was okay with it. Yeah, that's Draftosaurus. Well, you pick the dinosaurs and then you pick a bunch and you take one and you give the others to the other. So you just turn it around. But there's a lot of luck involved because it depends on what you draw from the bag, and if there's nothing you need, then well, there's nothing you need. But it's a funny small family game. Then we played one game of Varuna, which is also roll and ride, which is a very complicated roll and ride. I still like it. The main problem I have with it is you have those cards, and sometimes you get attacked. So when you get attacked, there's some damage on the cards. There are always 5 cards available, and you have to always pick one of them. If there's damage on one card, either you have already some shields to prevent some damage, but if you don't, then what's going to happen is you're going to take that much damage, which lose you a lot of victory points. So you have to be very careful. And what you can do is you just take that card. So you don't take the damage, but you do one less action. But you don't take the damage. Well, what happened here is I had everything planned out, and in the last round, there are 2 damage cards at the same time with huge numbers. And this completely screwed my game, because I had to take one of them, otherwise it would have completely destroyed me, but that's not the one I needed. I really needed to have like a yellow action. There was a 5 damage on a red card and 5 damage on the blue card, so I had to take blue or red card. And this kind of broke my game, and I didn't like that. So the damage part is the one part I'm not sure I like. It's very similar to Demeter, which is the previous game from them. And I'm wondering if I don't like Demeter better. Demeter is more streamlined, it's easier, but it's still very good. It's still very good. So, not sure. So that's Varuna, and that's 7. Okay, and that's all for the games I played in June. Sorry that I'm a little bit late, but a lot of stuff to do lately. We already played a bunch of good games for this month in July. So if you like train games and really complicated 6-hour games, I'm going to talk about one of them in the next month's video. Okay, thanks a lot everyone, and have a nice month.